Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I finally got it to respond.
Oh, you good? You good? I don't like to take this stuff like too serious. You know what I mean? Like, I know everybody's already like a little anxious doing this stuff, so it's just a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you. You don't have to talk about what you don't want to talk about. We just want my whole purpose behind it is just building that community. Now that we're finally getting some headway, obviously with issue 2, we've had the medical program, but one thing I feel like we haven't done in Ohio is having a conversation, education, and just just natural things that happen when programs and things happen. So thank you for reaching out to me and being willing to be interviewed and do all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Let me go ahead and get everything set up. It's already recording, but I can edit everything, so we'll it won't have this part. But so if you want, go ahead and just introduce yourself. I know you sent me a bio. Just go ahead and introduce yourself to the Ohio Cannabis Report family, the Ohio cannabis community. Who are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Ohio Cannabis Report and family. My name is Meagan Hillyer, and I've been working in dispensaries for the last almost 3 years. I was in management a little bit for the last one, and now I work as a brand representative for the state of Ohio and Columbus mostly, but I travel all over the state and do patient education. So it's the perfect time to have some discussions.
For sure. I mean, what better time than now, right? I think we could have been having these discussions. We have been having them like off camera, right? Offline. But I think that's the beautiful thing about like Zoom. You can have some of these discussions online, upload them, and then people can be like, oh, they're talking about it. Oh, she's have, or I don't know, they have similar opinions or thoughts and things that they experience that I can relate to. So what I found with, just Ohio Cannabis Report in general, is that what I found, a lot of people have found this and been like, I'm thankful because now I feel encouraged or empowered or, there's a platform. So how did you get involved with cannabis? Like, were you involved with cannabis before you started working at the dispensaries?
Well, so, I mean, everybody's involved in cannabis before they get into like most people are involved in some facet, but not like professionally. So like,
well, that's why we're having the conversation, right?
Yes.
Because
so, like,
this is an industry.
Right. This is how you get here, at least. But I was an avid user with no medical card. And at the time, I was doing it for my previous partner. He had severe pain issues, and the medication that he had been prescribed to for 10 years plus obviously wasn't doing it or wasn't doing enough to make him feel like a normal person. So after a while, I really started like doing things to like help him in his pain levels, along with my pain levels and my anxiety that I have. Like, it was just a whirlwind of stuff.
For sure.
And then I applied at every dispensary in the city for 3 years before anybody gave me an interview. And the only reason I got an interview was because the pharmacist at the time had zero cannabis background, and he hired another zero cannabis background into the store to see if that would go. And by God, here I am. So obviously that was a leap of faith, and I'm really thankful. Thank you, Steve. Really thankful for that.
I mean, that's huge too. And I know we kind of start like in the middle, but this is the reason we have the conversation, right? Because it's like cannabis didn't just start. Like, we have been here for years, for centuries rather, right? But to just now be able to publicly come out, and say it and be able to and not feel any shame, right? Or guilt or
You're immediately like, oh God, am I going to get judged, called out, snitched on, or told that I'm doing something horrible?
Right. Are you a drug dealer now, right? Like, are you going to be on some type of watch list? Like, it's
That's exactly what happened to me. I told my family to their face when I was 18, I think, that I was partaking in such a thing. And they looked at me and asked me if I needed intervention.
Wow.
Like a drug addict myself, and I'm like, oh my God. I just smoke a little here and there. I'm not even like doing the hard shit. Like you automatically assume that I am bad off. This is real bad. We got to educate you a little bit.
But I mean, this is where we are, and this is why we have to talk, because it's education, right? Like how many people have been traumatized by their family because mom thinks me smoking a little weed or she done found a bong that I'm fucking insane. We all are dealing with pressure. We're all dealing with stress. You know, people are trying to live up to the expectations of the world, their parents, family, whatever, your own goals. We all need something, right? Like we're living in a very hyper, like sensitive environment. You know, we're taking medications. There's things in the food that we don't even know about, things in the air. So from a medical perspective, obviously, if I'm consuming recreationally, most people are consuming to do something medically, you know, right? It's to help curb the anxiety, to help curb, maybe I need help sleeping, appetite, X, Y, and Z. But that's also why we need the people who have been on the legacy side, right? The gray market, to now be able to come on up front, right? Into the forefront, because you have people coming to dispensaries or coming being leaders in the cannabis industry, and they have no idea about cannabis, the community, the people, the types of the ways it impacts you. So how can you really truly care about people, about this industry, about the plant, if you don't go back and redress the people who are dealing with these issues, you know? And
Yeah.
so that's why we create the platform, because of stories like that, you know, to really, because everybody can't own a dispensary. Like everybody
Right.
can't go out and grow. Everybody doesn't have the lawyer fees or the business acumen to do certain things. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't have the ability to be craft growers. Doesn't mean we shouldn't have the ability to have friends. Like I have friends that grow. If I want to
Yeah.
go to my friends and support them, I should be able to do that. So that's why I love we have home grow in our in issue too.
Obviously, the plants per household, right? It's 12 plants per household.
Yeah,
That's huge
for sure.
for Ohio. Like that's a big.
Oh,
That's
and
a
that's why they don't. That's why these politicians, I mean, they don't want that to happen at all.
yeah. If you have access to your medicine in your own house, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare
I mean,
you?
and think we have, and this is what, you know, this is why I love it, because this will be really disruptive, right? When it goes through, because who's coming around to everybody's house counting these plants?
Who
Like,
has the time to fund that?
you
And
know what I
better
mean?
yet, do you honestly think, like, tell me true, I'm sure you will, but like CPD,
Oh,
Columbus Police
are you in
Department,
Columbus?
you think, I'm in Columbus,
Okay.
you
Okay.
think those motherfuckers are gonna sit there and go, yeah, let me go house to house and make sure every single house that has pot plants,
Yeah.
it's actually 12 per household? You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
There is no way any member of CPD is going to do that, because CPD deals with homicide, rape cases, kidnapping. They deal with all of the heavy shit.
Yeah.
And if you want to put that into the pile, they're going to look at you and laugh.
Right.
They're going to laugh. They're
For
not
sure.
going to do it.
Well, and it's a slap on the wrist now in Columbus, right? Because it's decriminalized in a way. And that's why, too, I mean, we started the Ohio Cannabis Report, because how do we create these connections, right? These hubs where we can be. Columbus is the capital
I know.
of the state. We should be raising hell. We are the
Yep.
ones that live a few miles away
Right.
from the state house. You know what I mean? And so the fact that we are not, especially cannabis, right? Cannabis is at the intersection of every single issue that we're dealing with in our current society, whether it's race, whether it's gender, sexuality, religion, like money,
It's
economics, healthcare, like it sits at this intersection.
I mean, you could even go so deep as to say it's not only that, but it's agriculture, it's
Well, it
construction,
is agriculture, right? Farming.
it's more ways than one. You can take, I mean, I'm sure you've talked about this ad nauseum, but still, like, people don't know this. Hemp derived, like agriculture, if you will,
Yeah.
like that is
Well, that's
specifically
the
for
bigger part of the plant is agriculture, right? It's not, and that's again, it's this destigmatization behind it, but it's also education and letting people know that this is
like
an agricultural plant.
Yeah, you can make bricks out of it and make a house. Like it's more than just
Concrete.
agricultural standpoint of like, oh, this medicinal plant. It's
Mhm.
more than just that. You can make sustainable bricks to make your house
Clothing.
farm related. Like it's better paper. Like that's why the paper companies were so adamant about getting this to be in a federally illegal thing. The lumber mill and paper mills were absolutely furious. They were not about to give all of that profit away to a tiny little plant.
For sure. And I mean, that's been, I think, too, as citizens, like we have to realize, like, yeah, we work for corporations and companies, but who is controlling the narrative? A lot of times it's the corporations that we work for, right? We give away our time, our energy, and our resources to them, and then they go and act on the behalf of us, right? Your leadership, whether it's your CEO, the executives, they go have dinners and lunches with the politicians, you
Right.
know. But when the citizens wake up and realize, oh, like I could start my own corporation, I could start my own nonprofit, I could start, like, yeah, it might be small starting out, but that gives you the power in our society, right? So now we don't just give our power away to a handful of individuals who are multimillionaires and billionaires, because there's enough for everybody to eat. Yeah, I've seen it. I've been to Dublin, I've been to New Albany, I've been to Bexley, Upper Arlington. I lived there for 3 years, grew up in DC. So you see there's people with more money than they know what to do with.
Yeah.
You know?
I
And
mean,
they're,
fist. It's
yeah.
hand over. I mean, when you're a part of the 2%,
Hmm.
it's just, and this is such a cash developing ag agricultural anomaly.
Right,
I mean, it really is an anomaly. It's a medicine and it's also an insulative brick.
right.
It's it can be
There's
rope
over
and
like 50,000 uses.
yeah, like there's so many uses and there's so many conversations that still need to be had in that regard. But like at the very basic level
Mhm.
of understanding, the hardest thing that I come to find is when I'm not even at work being a brand rep, it's the people I meet in just regular time.
Right. Yeah.
People that will sit and look at me and go, well, what makes your job, like what makes products that you have any better than the hemp CBD stuff I buy down the street?
Right.
And I immediately have to be like, okay, well, that helps you up until a point.
Right.
And they're obviously like, well, what does that mean?
Mhm.
And I then have to go deeper into this conversation and explain chemically, like that's not it.
Right.
You're
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 not
like
getting the whole thing.
what it's like you stutter stopped right before you got to the finish line. The
Mhm.
finish line is cannabis. It's
Right.
THC. It's not just hemp.
Right.
Like hemp derived CBD is just a glorified ibuprofen.
Yeah.
It's an anti-inflammatory. Okay, great. That might be helpful for your muscles and bones. Like it might give you some relief, but long term, probably not.
Right. For sure. And it's not the full spectrum typically, right? You don't have those other cannabinoids, your CBD, your CBGs, your CBNs, there's so many. And again, that's why these conversations are important, because education too, right? Sometimes education, we say, well, people need to be educated. People get scared of education, and I'm not from Ohio. So, I've had to learn Ohioans, and Ohio people,
Land of
um,
the skeptics.
huh?
We are the land of the skeptics.
Yeah. So now, are you born and raised Ohio,
Yeah.
from Columbus?
I was born in Canton, Ohio.
Canton.
And
Okay. Shout out to Cleveland.
yeah. It's about an hour out, but it's pretty much
Okay.
Cleveland. But I grew up in Canton till I was about 4, and then we moved to Columbus, and I've been in and out of Columbus ever since.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I mean, because Ohio is a very interesting state, obviously politically, obviously, I mean, you talk about economically, agriculture is one of our largest. And that's why like my push for cannabis is so big too, is because it's like, if Ohio's an agriculture state, right? If you see
Yeah.
corn and soybean everywhere, we should be talking about cannabis, so it's
Enough land to do it. It wouldn't be that serious to convert some of them cornfields into some fields.
well, then
We got,
hell would be real, right? That little hell is real sign.
oh, listen, that's the only thing people remember is the hell is real billboard, and that's coming up from the south.
Man, like
talking about? I used to live down there. Yeah, buddy. Hell is real. Yeah, I bet. Down there.
And I think too, like I love like where I'm at too with this platform because Ohioans like I think Ohioans think like everybody hates them or like everybody's hating on them. It's like no, nobody really knows shit about Ohio, outside of Ohio State. That's all we talk about. You know, like
Well, I get told all the time, like when I go out of state, people
yeah.
always look at me and they're like, Ohio. And I'm like, excuse me? Like what? How? What did I even do? It's so assuming that my parents picked this state to stay in. Like, give me a break.
And Ohio's not even that bad. Ohio's not bad.
Yeah, I mean it. It's not. It's like some of the people are super nice and they want to talk to you and they really want to get to know you and they'll take you to meet their freaking family sometimes.
Right.
Other times, you meet people that don't want nothing to do with you. Yeah. They give shit if you live or die.
And I think that's the hard part about Ohio, right? Like you have that hard cutoff. You have that hard like conservative marker too. Like, well, I'm from the country, I'm from a town, and Columbus is the big city, or Cleveland's the big city. And you know, so you have those people. And now with the internet and social media, obviously, there's way more convergence of culture here. Because like, what is the culture of Columbus? Like, it's been so hard for me because like, what is culture here? You go to Short North, I was like, okay. You go to you know, campus, okay. Like it's just so broken up, and things are so hidden. Yeah.
It's set off, right?
Right.
So Columbus, this is the best descriptor I could give you. Columbus has all of these suburbs around it, right? All over it that make it Columbus. We all know that, those of us that are familiar.
Right.
Every single suburb is the tale of two cities. You get one end of it that is ultra rich, super well off, affluent people, and the other half is dirt poor, absolutely just resources completely nixed.
Yeah.
And then there's the middle of it in between all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single one. You see it in Dublin. I know that sounds absolutely bizarre.
Oh no, I lived there for a little bit. Trust me.
So when I grew up, I told people when I was younger that I lived in Dublin, right? And they would go, "Oh yeah, what side of the river?" And I'd sit there and be like, "Why? Why does that matter to you? What side bridge or river I'm on?" And I would tell them and they'd go, "Oh, you're the poor side." And I'd be like, "That's considered poor?"
Right. Right. For sure.
Well, it was some parts of it
For
because
them,
I was apartments and some of those apartments would have some serious shit go down and I lived right by that. And I'm sitting here having to explain to people at like 11, 10 that I live on the other side of the river. That's embarrassing to have that kind of attitude given to you because it's one side of the river. Give me a fucking break. Are you kidding me? Like, at least everybody's trying their best. Like, I'm sorry that the ultra rich forgets what that's like, but like, damn, have some perspective, will you? Like, that's unbelievable. But that's every single suburb. Yeah. Every single one.
And I mean, that's the energy of Columbus, right? Like,
and you get ultra rich.
Yeah. And they control everything.
You get a little bit of,
and they control everything. So how, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Oh, you're fine. This may be kind of surprising, but I'll be 31 in January.
31. You look good, girl. I'm 34. So you're millennial. You're a millennial. Shout out to.
I hope when I'm 50. I hope when I'm 50, I'm like barely any wrinkles. Like, I hope I have a beautiful head of gray hair. Like, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, you got great energy already, so I already know you're gonna be. And then we got the weed legalizing. Like, we turning up. This is what people like. This is our time. Like, we should be feeling like
relief. We should feel relief to some extent. We should feel like, oh, free. We're free a little bit. Like, we've been bitching about this for years. That's the whole reason first time didn't pass. It was going to be huge fucking monopoly and none of us were having it. I was so proud of Ohio for not being impatient.
Right.
Because they could have fucked that up right there.
Well, we still have a monopoly with the medical program, but having the recreational program. So what happened was the Farm Bill passed. So then you have hemp, you have that. So then, I mean, they're shipping cannabis in the mail right now. How they determine what is THC, what is Delta 8? So they really can't. But then, so it's really just the policy, the law, because like after that, like people are smoking. You might get your weed taken if you're in some part of the city, if you don't know your rights, right? Which typically happens if you're in underserved communities, you know, small towns and stuff like that. But you know, it's pretty much been open, you know, if unless you lived in an apartment and then somebody like Broderick, who's one of our partners here, you know, he had a neighbor call, so then the landlord kicked him out. So situations like that, I think, but again, that's just, again, we already have a housing issue in Columbus specifically.
That's already, and that's like so racially charged. It makes me want to throw up. And like, I know where I stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I am a white woman in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
But I am also aware that there's far more egregious things occurring than just being a white woman in society who also is working in cannabis.
Right.
Everybody gets put into a box the minute they tell someone conservative that they partake and or work in cannabis. Almost every single time. I will say, if you present it in a way that makes sense, that benefits the person in front of you somehow, because it does, you'll find a way to correlate a benefit for this person.
Right.
And how you can help others, right? Those are like 3 things that will make someone stop and go, okay, maybe.
Right.
In the state.
Right.
I can't say that necessarily anywhere else, but because of the nature of this job that I have where I have to speak to you, like that's part of the gig. Like I'm not a brand rep.
Are you speaking in dispensaries, or are you going around like how?
I'm in the dispensary.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I'm limited to that.
Right.
If somebody walks up to me when I'm at lunch and they want to talk to me about something and I just casually bring up that I work in cannabis, there's a conversation.
And that's what I'm trying to get. Thanks for bringing that up, because I'm trying to get to the community at large, right? Like, because there's a lot of bud tenders. There are a lot of sales reps. I see people on Instagram, and I'm like, this is your platform. Like, you have a unique experience. You're in a unique position. You're in an industry that's just now growing. You are seeing patients. You're interacting with patients. You're interacting with sales reps coming from brands. You're seeing what's working for people. You are the person, like, you can do that education outside. You can become a consultant. You can become an expert and speak, right? Because it's like, you don't have to say, well, this is that. You don't have to point to every brand or whatnot. But your experience alone, I think, and then vocalizing that, you know, like everything we talk about cannabis doesn't have to be just smoking it.
Yeah, you're on the ground floor of everything. Right. You literally watch what happens to these people. They come back every week.
Right.
Like it's not a guessing game. You have the answers. Stop acting like you don't have the resources to say something. But this is the thing. If everyone were meant to do that, they'd be fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Not everyone
it's
has
the fear
behind the conversation. You're right. It is fear. They are deathly afraid with being like either outed or stigmatized or confronted or chastised. Like at the end of the day, nobody wants to get rejected, right? Sure. I get that has to go away. Like, even if you get rejected, that is their choice.
Yeah, they're making a decision.
Thank you. You voted for your choice. That's all you did. You voted for your choice and how you feel about this plant, this medicinal, loving, beautiful plant. You made your choice. So if somebody actively takes the time to go, that's bullshit, I don't care what you have to say, you can absolutely just go, okay, thanks, have a good day.
Yeah.
Don't waste your energy by going, oh, they're gonna fucking like, oh, they hate me now. Like,
right.
I guarantee you they're not going to think twice about that little pothead that just asked them to talk about cannabis. Right. They don't give a shit. And if they do, you can have another conversation, or you can choose what to do from there. But even a negative interaction can be flipped into a positive one. For example, I literally just had to speak to someone who is a veteran. Okay. He is in a lot of pain. This poor guy, in so much pain.
A lot of our veterans are.
Yes. And that's a big reason why they're there in cannabis, because they hate those freaking pills and they would rather just go back to something
as well.
That too. They want to get off alcohol. They want to get off pills. They don't like how it makes them feel. They're depressed. Their PTSD is awful. Like the laundry list of reasons why our vets are in this program are insane.
Oh, for
but
sure.
This gentleman comes in and he looks just writhing in pain. He's obviously not having a good day. Me personally, I'm not going to bother this person until they get settled into the dispensary and they have what they have taken care of, right? I'm not going to bombard this person with pleasantries because they don't feel great.
Because you're aware.
Thank you. Like, if I'm in pain, I don't want some young person in my face go, hi, do you want to talk about this product I can sell to you right now? Like, no, I want you out of my face and out of my bubble. God bless you. God love you. But no, you're wrong. This is the wrong one today. I'm not in the mood. That's exactly how I'm sure this older gentleman will feel. He's 60 plus. I pinky promise you, he does not want to speak to me about cannabis.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, he came right in, told me how grumpy he was, told me how much pain he's in. And I'm like, I'm very sorry to hear this. Is there anything that I can do? I'm not even talking about products at this point. I just want to see how this gentleman feels. Taking the time to realize the time and place for those conversations will literally change the course of this conversation. This man gave me a hug before he left to go to the retail floor. And then when he came out, he illegally opened his bag and showed me what he got. And it was one of the products I sell.
Wow. There you go.
Sweetest soul ever. But that security guard told me that he was going to be a jerk. Well, so much for that. Grandpa's just in a lot of pain right now.
Yeah. Right. And I think a lot of too, right, we're dealing with a lot of generational things right now, right? You're having a lot of, elderly folks, seniors that are in pain, that, arthritis, what have you, that are also venturing into this space after they were part of the demonization, possibly, right? Or they may vote a certain type of way, or they may have looked down upon their children. So there's a lot of guilt. I think, even with like Thanksgiving just passing, like you could just feel like the tension in the air of conversations and what the hell is happening, because it's a lot.
I made my family members mad.
What'd you say?
I made my family members mad.
Yeah.
I went on a walk before dinner and people were not happy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, you guys.
Let's talk about that, because I think a lot of times we're afraid, to have those personal, like, family things. And it's like, yo, I know when I'm with my hood family, anytime we're together, family reunion, all the cousins, we are the fuck out of there. We're in the back corner. Like, we all some fights.
You're just gently hanging out, and it's not even like a thing. It's not taboo. Okay, right. So it's not weird unless you make it weird.
You make it weird, right?
You have to go out of your way to make this weird, because I'm not making it weird. You are.
You are. Wow.
You're feeling some type of way about this, and I was quiet as a church mouse, and you're opening your mouth telling me you feel some type of way. Okay. That sounds like a personal problem.
I'm
Like,
a
it
grown
doesn't.
ass adult.
Thank you. I am 30 years old. Like, I am grown. I am grown as fuck. And you want to sit here and act like I'm acting like a lush? It's not like drinking.
Yeah.
I'm not incoherent. I'm just quieter now and smiling a lot more. And that bothers you because
Yo, I
I'm
love it.
sorry. I'm more tolerant of your bullshit now.
Right.
Like,
Right. Now I just don't give a fuck.
yeah, like you want me to be edgy, okay? Like Edgelord 5000, calm down. Like we don't need all that. You got
I'm
enough for
calling
the
this
rest.
Edgelord 5000, by the way.
Yes, you like that? You can use that anytime you want.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. Oh, we're gonna have to hang out since you're in Columbus.
Yeah, I'm helly close. I'm here for it. And listen, I have this, okay? This is my prescription. I have a medical card. I'm legally allowed to have this. Yes,
Those are
you
one of
can
my
show.
favorites.
This is a clutch luster pod, shameless plug, but it is. It is 95 milligrams of myrcene. And I'm like super fan of the myrcene, because if you don't know about the myrcene, which I know you do, if you don't know about the myrcene, for those of you out there, that is the terpene quite literally responsible for putting you in the couch. It's one. For some of us, it makes us calm enough to socialize and also have far less anxiety and just in general be more present, because my brain is running at 80 million miles a minute. I need it to go at like 80 miles per hour, not 80 million.
Right.
So it tones it down significantly, thank God. So that is what myrcene does for me. For other people, it incapacitates them and they're on the couch and they want to eat their whole fridge.
And I think that's part of the conversations that I've been having too, is terpenes, right? Because when it comes to education in the community, obviously, you know, we're in the culture, we're outside, and it's what's the exotic, what's the Zaza, who got the loud, who got the gas, who got the sativa, the indica, the hybrid.
I want to see the terps.
Show me the terps.
Saying that, and that is, I'm so grateful for the cannabis community and the education, the continued education that is required of every single employee, because I don't think knows that you are required to have continued education, proof of continued education every single year you're in the dispensary. I think it's sometimes even quarterly. So we are being educated.
And y'all can disseminate the education and
but not everybody's comfortable with that. We've gone over it. Like, everybody can sit there and just look at some old man and be like, yeah, I work in cannabis. I literally did that 2 weeks ago when I was in Akron. I don't even live there. I don't live there. And this person was just trying to chat it up with me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, old man and his wife, whatever. It's cool. Hi, how are you? It's nice to meet you.
I love the couples coming into the dispensary too, the older couples.
So cute. They're so precious. God protect them all. They're so precious. So like, I'm talking to this old man and he goes, so what do you do for a living? And I was like, there it is. I knew it was coming. Yeah. And I go, I work in cannabis, good sir. And I just wait. I don't say anything. I just wait. And he goes, oh, really? What do you do? And I'm like, I do patient education, what we're doing right now. He goes, you're kidding me. I go, mm-mm. And the whole conversation started about cannabis. This man is now trying to get a medical card, and so is his wife.
Wow.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
and we don't have enough medical card holders, by the way. Like, you know, we usually do the stats.
Why wouldn't you? You get to skip the line for you impatient people out there. You get to skip the line practically. Recreational people will not be helpful for you. Not really.
Well, the problem is too, we're just not telling people enough, right? Like, there's no marketing, there's no advertising, there's no I talk to people all the time that don't even know we have a program.
Yeah, and you can thank the Board of Pharmacy for that, because you're not allowed to advertise. It's literally non-compliant.
Right.
Which is like, how's anyone supposed to know then if I can't even tell anybody about it legally? Like, if I give you a reference as a patient, I have to give you 3 different sources. I can't just give you one because that's favorite, like some sort of non-compliant bullshit.
Right.
And
Oh yeah, that's all bullshit.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, the laws, and the problem too is like we're not educated in civics and laws, right? Like, so think about America. Like, we do hella illegal shit. You going across the line driving half the time without putting your turn signal on, right? So they do that because there's gray holes, there's loopholes in everything. It's just how you do it. It's just Ohio is a state that don't get caught, right?
I know.
Don't get caught. Because there's people in the suburbs growing hella bud. Like, it's people going to Michigan bringing down bud. Like, but if you're driving a Benz truck, right?
Every week, I have people that are going into my dispensary or some dispensary that I'm at, and they go, "Oh, I just went to Michigan last week," and I'm like, "Listen, you tell me that. Like, legally, I have to report you now." To some extent, like you just openly admitted to drug trafficking. I have to take your medical card now.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people all the time, I went, "You smoked it all there, right?"
Right.
I'm like, "You didn't smoke it here, right?"
Right. You don't have to tell me all the details.
You know what I mean? They're like, "Yeah, I didn't." I'm like, "Yeah, I bet you didn't."
Yeah, you didn't bring that back here. You didn't cross state lines with that.
You're killing me. You're killing me. Like, don't go up, please, for the love of God. If anybody hears this, don't look at your bud tender and go, "So I went to Michigan last week." Great, good for you. Right. Keep that talk to the people that don't work there. Like, if you're inside the building they work at and you say that, you just
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons I haven't gotten involved like in like going to work for a dispensary or cultivator is because like, I talk about whatever fuck I want to talk about, and there's a certain level of freedom, that comes with that, and understanding like I'm not hell bent to a brand, you know what I mean? Like I do the research.
I'm not either though, and I work for a brand. They know that.
Well, but there's a lot of people that are working for brands that feel like they are. I'm like, yo, y'all don't have to. You don't always have to shout out your company. You don't, like, if you're wearing your company's brand, they should be paying you. Like, if you're talking about your company, yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I'm wearing an anime tee. We're just gonna
Dope.
peep that for the homies.
Dope. But there's just so many. There's loopholes, and there's been more people talking as of lately. There's been more events happening, which I love. There's a Cincinnati meetup group. What was that?
Did you see the green carpet gala?
I think I did see that. Yeah, that's going on.
So
where's that being hosted at?
I believe it will be at the Sanctuary. That will be in Columbus, and that will be a pretty penny. And I am very interested to see how this is going to transpire because this is going to be in January. So law is going to be different.
Right.
Like, who knows what's going to happen between now and January.
Right. Oh, yeah. And then, like, once it goes into law, like, you got to think it's the wild, wild west. Like,
for at least years.
At least.
And that's like minimum.
Yeah. Because you got to think people have already been growing, right? So people are already got shot. People already got plants ready to go for sale, or donation, ready to open up a retail shop. You're not paying here. It's just donation or something like that. Like there's a lot of loopholes that come into play, when this legalization happens, obviously combustion on the street, there's a lot.
I want to know more about combustion and combustion on the street. Whoop, sorry. I also want to like how that's going to translate because I know DeWine is not a happy camper.
No.
None of them are really.
None of them are. And the Speaker of the House, he's already been blatantly against it. They came out with an article and an interview. I think I posted it on the channel where he basically came out and said Ohioans didn't know what they voted for.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, how do you not? I'm sorry.
57%. like 57% of voters. You know, you look out what I think it was about 2 million voters. You know, it wasn't
people
yeah.
voted.
And obviously on both issues, I mean, both issues passed, obviously. So, you know, it was, I think it's a big middle finger, you know, from a lot of Ohioans to the politicians. You know, you obviously have a lot of women. You have a lot of things that, you know, are transpiring now. And that's why I say, because Ohio's an older state. There's that transference of money happening and power. I think. Yeah, there's a lot of things like, you know, and so this is just sitting at the crux of it all, which I think we need a little bit more weed.
Yeah. I mean, think about this too. We're in the age of the Aquarius now.
And like, I don't know.
Oh, that's old systems dying. It's like a natural course of action. Like, for instance, when the Roman Empire fell entirely, it was the dawning of a new age.
Right.
It was going from Pisces to Aries. Jesus was supposedly in the era of Pisces, hence the Jesus fish. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. So then
I love it.
Roman Empire falls. The death of Pisces, age of Aries. We have been in the age of Aries for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
We are now in the age of Aquarius.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's extra edgy.
Extra.
All these old systems and ways of thinking are dying.
Yeah.
They're dying. It's a slow death, but it is still happening.
Yeah. And it has kind of been happening too, right? But I think, you know, again, when you start something new, like it's the realization that things like this system hasn't been working for, you know, hundreds, thousands of years. There's information, there's resources that have been hitting for hundreds of years.
I know. I mean, look at the freaking
what was that? You cut out a little bit.
The Egyptians, for God's sake. I mean, they have literally perfectly level altar by the pyramids of Giza, and it's completely perfectly lasered, like laser marble altar.
Yeah.
Years old.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much too, like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, you just think about like the minds and like how we've been so like dumbed down, you know, to the realizations that obviously there's a lot of people awakening, you know, and people having these epiphanies or, you know, just coming to realizations. We're having conversations, but to know that things are being unlocked, you know, and I think that's why one of the reasons too, like all of us play a certain role, you know, like I never knew, you know, I kind of, when I was born, like I was born a child of teenage parents out of wedlock in the hood. How did I make it out of that situation to be able to go to college and try out for the NFL? And then you like, what is my purpose? You know, and that's why I start like some of these platforms, because like I'm a pusher, you know what I mean? Like I understand like systems, you know, I've been a disruptor in a lot of systems where like I'm not supposed to be here, you know what I mean? The fact that I'm in this elite private school in Washington, D.C., you know, and my parents don't got connections. And then you realize like the power that comes from being the fly on the wall. You know what I mean? Like nobody expects you to be there, but also the power that comes from like, oh, I know a lot of shit. And I can empower a lot of people that don't know what's really going on over here, you know? And I do that by using my voice, because I've played high level football and sports. And one of the things you don't get to do as an athlete, and why we look at our athletes and entertainers, they're under contract. You know what I mean? They have to protect. You talk about protecting brands, you talk about protecting image, you talk about protecting certain things. And so that's why we don't hear our entertainers, particularly football players, basketball players, and they have these massive followings. They have millions of dollars, but they can't talk about it. You know, even college athletes. As a college athlete, I was smoking so much weed, you know what I mean? But it's like you getting drug tested. If you tell people you smoking weed now, you got kids, parents mad at you. Oh, little Johnny, little Johnny was like loving you. Now you smoke weed and you were with. And it's like, well, trust me, I'll take little
Yeah.
Johnny to the hood and I wouldn't be little Johnny mentor no more. You know, I
Yeah.
take little Johnny to the strip club. Football is not a family friendly sport, you know.
I I don't think people should look at football like that anyway, because you're full most of the time full grown men.
Yeah. It's a violent
Like,
sport. It's
yeah, they're
gladiator.
their heads into each other.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And that's why they're trying to change the rules to make it like more like it's kind of like wrestling now, where it's like it's glorified theater, but it's still
Yeah.
very like you can't change like a 250-pound man running into another 250-pound man at full
Yeah,
speed.
brutal.
You
It's
know.
just like modern day gladiators.
Mhm.
They're really putting themselves under a lot of stress, and I get that. And like a lot of the like even the crowd cheering and screaming can do like make your ears ring. And people don't realize stuff like that. But like that this goes back in line with like what I was saying about like you were saying like fly on the wall, but
Mhm.
also have like high end connections maybe that you can discuss things with and be like, look, this is the reality, like educate, right?
Oh,
Have
I'm topple all of them. They can all topple unless they're investing, unless they're going to use their
That's what
political.
I'm saying. Like you're literally taking what I was saying earlier in the same breath. It's the same thing. It's just said differently.
Yeah.
You're using time and place
Hmm.
to your advantage about getting information out. It's not even about conversion.
Hmm.
I don't even care if you agree with me at the end of it. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I'm only giving you information, education, and you get to choose what you do with that.
Mm.
Should you want to continue this conversation? Fuck yeah, let's do it. Otherwise, it's on you, boo. Like it is. That's definitely how cannabis has to be treated right now. I don't care how you feel about it. I work in it. I support it. I have my own beliefs about that. How you doing? Keep it moving. That's
Answer
one
that.
of my things. How you doing? Keep it moving. You don't like it? All right. Good for you. Like I don't care. I do. If you don't have that attitude with cannabis, they will eat you alive.
For
They
sure.
will.
For sure. And I mean, and that's what I've always loved about it. Like that kind of like fuck it mentality, right? Like it really does give you like, this is who I am. Like this is what I enjoy. This is what helps me, you know, because we're all dealing with something, you know, insecurities, pain, whatever. Like we all have something. You know,
Yes.
you're taking a Tylenol, you're taking a ibuprofen, you're taking an antidepressant, anxiety, you're eating you're drinking coffee every day.
You're
You know,
taking Zofran because it's anti-nausea. You're taking a diuretic because you have issues with your stomach. You're taking whatever Adderall because you can't focus. Like there is a cannabinoid for everything.
yeah. And we have an endocannabinoid system. And I think that's part of the issue too. We don't have doctors and obviously educators. We all have an endocannabinoid system. So we have the receptors for cannabis, for our body to
Absolutely.
naturally interact with cannabis. And so you can't overdose. You know, it's not like alcohol or any other, you know, pills where you're going to overdose.
Right. But you know why that is too, right?
Inform me.
Why it's not necessarily possible for you to OD.
Why is that?
Oh, okay. There you go. So, uh, for instance, Percocet or like painkillers,
Mhm.
opioids, right? Opioids, when they interact with your medulla oblongata, if you were to OD, you then cannot breathe. Yeah. That's one of like the first symptoms of
Okay.
ODing is the breathing gets cut off, the airways get shut off, right?
Yep.
Your medulla oblongata is responsible for that.
Mm.
It's not the only thing that does, but that is one of its purposes in your brain. It's like self-defense.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like brain overload. Yeah.
Yep.
Cannabis does not respond to your medulla in that regard. Like, it does not bind to your medulla at all. Your medulla doesn't like have that kind of receptor, if you will. That is why that's not possible.
And doesn't, I mean, cannabis opens up the lungs, right? Helps with lung capacity.
It can. Pinene is actually a bronchodilator.
Okay. So
It'll
let people know.
Literally expand your lungs.
I won't keep you too much longer, but since you're so educational and informational, let the people know, what are the terpenes and what do they do?
Ooh, okay. So terpenes,
ones you know, you don't have to. You know.
No, you're fine. I'm just gonna give like a brief descriptor and then go into a couple of them that people are probably going to come in contact with more than likely. The top 5, if you will. Terpenes are natural oils found in everything everybody's already experienced today. It's in fruit, trees, flowers, herbs, spices, all kinds of things that emit smell and have medicinal qualities. And it is often talked about in aromatherapy. Terpenes, they are a natural part of life that everyone already knows today. Well, cannabis also has and produces those natural terpenes and those medicinal like qualities, as well as producing cannabinoids that have their own medicinal quality as well. So you're getting like multiple different levels and layers of medicinal effect with just one plant.
Right.
For instance, one of the most common terpenes that we've already discussed today is myrcene. Myrcene is often found in mangoes, hops, basil, all different things, right? And myrcene is the terpene responsible for a lot of muscle relief. It's very helpful for pain relief. It can do many different things. Sometimes it can even be considered antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. It's an antidepressant. It also is an appetite stimulant. It can make you have the munchies. So for those of you who don't want the munchies, stay away from myrcene, because that will absolutely stimulate your appetite. Yeah, more than likely. Most of us will respond that way. Not everyone, obviously, because everyone's body metabolizes differently. But that is one of the main effects of myrcene, and it is responsible for a lot of headier indicas. Limonene is the total opposite of that, and it is often found in many sativa strains and other really nice hybrids that are very uplifting, giggly, like you get the giggle fits with limonene. It is also an antibacterial, antifungal. It is also an antidepressant for people. It gives people a lot of uplifting emotions. Sometimes it can make people feel like cleaning the house. It really just depends on who you are. For both of those terpenes, it can cause anxiety for people. Myrcene causes anxiety for people who do not like to feel sedated, who do not like to feel weighed down, who do not like to feel a little bit slower. Limonene causes anxiety for people because they already are having a more like expedited heart rate, or they naturally sit a little bit edgier, or naturally have a little bit more angst or anxiety. You are then putting them in another anxiety-ridden state because you've now overstimulated this person to such a degree that they no longer feel safe. Right. Both of these occurrences are like an overstimulation, right? People don't realize that their endocannabinoid system is saying, I've had enough of this. I don't like it. Stop that.
Yep.
That's what that is. It's an overstimulation of cannabis and cannabinoids and terpenes that your body does not like. Me, my body loves myrcene so much, and it loves linalool. That's a lavender-like terpene, and it loves terpinolene occasionally, believe it or not.
Okay. Nice. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I think that's something, we have to, part of the destigmatization is just having open conversation, dialogue, but getting that natural dialogue of education through conversation. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a natural segue.
Yeah, because I think that's super important. And I think it'll help people who are, you know, a little bit more apprehensive, you know, about it, you know. So I think it's important. Also, I think women, obviously, in cannabis, talking about cannabis is important. I had another young lady on before you, and you know, just hearing how y'all talk about it and understanding that you guys interact differently, right? I mean, your emotion, you guys are more emotionally inclined sometimes to feel things. Obviously, I mean, you're nurturers, but to hear how you all are responding, you know, especially, you know, when in terms of healthcare, I mean, you guys have been kept quiet for so long. So I think it's important.
Oh man, we get pushed to the back every day. It's like in terms of like healthcare, like people of color, the LGBTQ community, and women are constantly just back. Like get in the back of the healthcare community.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things we have to change. I mean, I'm a huge advocate for Black men's health because we don't even have the conversation. Like, we don't even have a lot of spaces, you know, in our own homes, sometimes our own communities to even learn, you know, and the conditioning that is set in to even speak up for yourself, you know, a lot of times is a problem, and it's tough, right? Because we're told to be tough, we're told to like suck everything up.
Yeah, you're told to just grin and bear it.
Yeah, and so then you have lack of resources, you have lack of time, you know, lack of money, all the things, and so. And that comes into play with a lot of things, but you know that's where cannabis again is important, right? The war on drugs. This was, you know, being used in communities as a form of not only just medicine, but a form of commerce, you know, of healthcare. And so they knew that and they took that away, but then that broke up households, right? That broke up marriages, relationships, father-son, father-daughter relationships, that sometimes can never be repaired or restored. And that's why our social equity clause in Ohio's issue too, I think is important.
It's so important. We need to get those people out of jail. Also, like these people that went to jail for marijuana crimes only or cannabis crimes, because marijuana, that's stupid. Cannabis crimes only.
Right.
Like those people should have never been in jail. Like of all the people to take up the space.
Yeah.
Why?
Right. And we got all these rapists out here. We got all types of shit going on.
Oh, don't even get me started.
That's another reason why they don't want it though, right? Because you lose a population.
Yeah, because then they have to do that. Then they have to actually pursue those people that I guarantee you some of these people are already aware.
Oh, they are. They are. There's a story that just came out of Columbus. A coach that I coached with, he got charged with, was it rape? And they gave him, he basically got off. He don't have to register. As I said,
Are you kidding me?
I'm like, and it's not in Franklin County, it's in, I think, Madison County.
Of course.
But it's just like, you know, and that's part of it too, right? Like playing football, playing sports at a high level, like you get privileges, right? And so like I understand why people get mad at athletes because like yes, you do have, while you're in that system,
you have privileges.
You you are protected because there is a lot of money attached to you.
You're an asset.
You're an asset, right, to the state. And so how that looks, you know, and that's all law is, right? It's somebody making a judgment anyway. It's a court game, you know, whether you have a good lawyer, whether you have good money, you know, the judge, whatever, you know.
The best argument you have is how much you pay your lawyer.
Yeah. And
it's
Ohio
not even a fucking argument.
Yeah. And Ohio is run by the state, you know, so like a lot of us are being controlled by state lawyers, you know.
I know. It's all a joke. I mean, I have so many friends who are really good dads that don't get to see their kids because Ohio's a mother state.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Like I am someone that is equal for all, okay? And I mean all. I don't care.
Especially for dads that want to be present.
Especially for dads that actually want to be there. Like
let them have some sort of visitation, please. It could be supervised, whatever. Like, don't withhold their children unless they actually are a detriment. Like, okay, I will hear you on that. But these are good dads, and they're being told that they can't see their kids, or that they're not worthy, or that they're this or that. Or I just have a hard time with that. So if we're going to be equal, let's actually be equal, right? Like
Cannabis is a part of that.
I'm working on making it more of that, because like I told you earlier, I'm like teaching myself sign language as I go through life. I've been doing that as often as I can for a little bit over 2 years.
Sign language to the channel. I'll put you on the spot.
You will. Hold on, it's okay. I just gotta get it to sit. Hi, my name is Meagan. How are you? Flower is the best. Yeah, I like Flower. My favorite.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. See, I can keep going, but I'm still learning. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning.
What made you take that journey into learning sign language?
A patient.
Patient? Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow. And I mean, again, that just shows you too the breadth of patience, right? I mean,
he was the only patient that I knew that had a really hard time with signing and would almost always ask you for a pen and paper. And at one point in time, I was like, teach me something. I want to learn. And he was like, I don't really want to do that. I barely learned myself. You do it yourself. And I went, okay, that's a fair point. That's fine. Cool. I can do that. So I started doing it, and I made it a point to learn. And every time he came in, I would do something new, or I would try and learn something new, and I would retain it, and I would do it and repeatedly try. I just never gave up.
That's a powerful lesson right there.
Yeah, I love this person so much. I have so much respect for them, and because of that, I have helped other deaf patients. And this like goes into a segue for like the last thing here. I need everyone to understand that if you call yourself an inclusive company, you need to actually act like it. Because websites that are non-accessible for our blind folks, our deaf folks, our peoples who have trouble reading, our peoples who have severe ADHD that would benefit from bionic reading. There are so many different avenues of our mentally divergent or mentally different communities that are not being acknowledged at all. That is a huge problem for me. Big problem for me.
Yeah.
I can't ever sit here and say to someone that's deaf, yeah, this company takes care of it all. Because it doesn't. I need people to do that. The most marginalized group of people in the entire world will almost always be the handicapped community and or the mentally different or divergent individuals. They are the ones that get completely outed out of the conversation. There is hardly a conversation. And it's like that in cannabis. I am desperate to start putting this in people's brains all the time. Don't forget about your blind folks. Make your websites accessible for speech to text. Don't forget about the people that quite literally cannot physically read something unless it's written a certain way. In bionic reading, there are so many things that are accessible programs that you can use on your websites to make it actually 100% inclusive.
And on that, we're going to end right there, baby. We're going to land that plane.
Yes.
Because
thank you so much.
So thank you, Meagan, for giving us your time and sharing with us. We truly appreciate it. Let the people know where they can find you at. If you are on social media, if you do consulting, speaking, just let the people know where they can find you.
So this is actually one of my first like online interviews with you in general, let alone like in cannabis community. Really, I did one with Bleeding Terps.
Okay.
What's up, Mark? Love you, man. You guys can find me on 2 different locations. I have 2 Instagrams because one is strictly for cannabis info. That's you can find me at that's Clutch Meagan. I was being sarcastic, but it's funny.
I like it.
That's Clutch Meagan. And then you can also find me at Honey Senpai, which is my personal page, and I have no problem talking about cannabis there. They're actually encouraging us to speak about cannabis on our personal pages because it has nothing to do with work.
That's all I've been telling people to do. Just use your personal Instagram and talk.
It's very much encouraged now because the rules are changing. Things are opening up now in such a way that it would behoove you to do that. And I work for Clutch and Kiva. I am a brand representative for them, and I'm not speaking on behalf of them today, but I am speaking as myself and as a person who's worked in this industry for almost 3 years. Like, I've come from totally different jobs, but I am very passionate about it, and I'm very, very much open to discussion in terms of education and helping people actually get medicated the right way. I don't want people overstimulated. I don't want people understimulated. I want you to feel whole as best as I'm able.
And balanced.
Yes, absolutely.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you, Meagan. And anytime, anything that I can help you with, anything you want to do, I'm always looking for people to just build with here in the city, especially.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I'm actually going to try and start throwing events, hopefully soon.
Well, let me know.
we can absolutely discuss this further for sure.
I have a nonprofit that I could do things through and navigate things through. And also just this platform to obviously promote and distribute. So
I love it. And I'm here for that too. I try and share all of your like education posts to like all of the like new laws, like all of those like very legalese posts. I try and share all of that. I shared the reps page so we could email and call them like crazy. Like, I'm telling you, I try and do that also.
That's all I'm trying to do. Just put the
I appreciate you.
there.
I literally go to your page for help, like for information if I'm trying to fact check myself. So like what you're doing is very helpful, even for industry people like me, who's like, I'm in it to win it. I'm in this all day, every day. It's not anything I'm not talking about all day long, but it doesn't help if I don't have the info to back it up and like the hard copies to be like, here you go.
Right. Because I mean, it does deep, like it gets deep in that stuff. And I'm just like, a lot of people don't know where to find it or that it exists or, you know, obviously the language. So the
legalese is what trips people a lot. So thank you for even putting it out there so I can even like break down some of it. Like, it's a blessing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for all that you're doing, obviously in the industry, patients, and for yourself too. So in the community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope to see you in real time. We gotta.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm getting back out there. You know, once COVID, like I'm still like very like, I'm a picky person. Like once you get, so after like football, like being a public figure, like my wife's on the news. So like after like when you do that stuff, like I have to be very particular, like when I'm going out and people and connecting. And I'm also like, I'm an introvert too. Like I could be around a lot of people, but like I like my peace. You know, I got children.
You're an introverted extrovert.
Yeah, you know, I could do it, but then I'd be tired, you know what I mean? And I'm always out there. Like I always overexert myself. Like I like to have a good time. But
you have the social battery, but it does go quick. Yeah.
It goes quick. So, and it's just got to be the right people. And ever since cannabis, it's like I got to find my people in the industry that's really trying to do stuff. You know, like I don't want to just I'm not just smoking, like I'm smoking and trying to build and create and heal.
Yep, that's what I've been doing too. I mean, I literally talk to people on the fucking street. Like, I don't give a shit.
Man, I
don't care how you feel. Yeah. I
tell the homeless man, I ain't got no money, but I got some weed. You want some weed?
One of my DoorDash people one of my DoorDash people literally dropped me off weed randomly just because. And I was like, why would you do this?
Well,
I work
delivery is
in
going to be
cannabis.
big too. We didn't even talk about delivery.
I know. It's shit's about to pop off and I can't wait.
The delivery services, baby. Oh,
I can't wait. They're going to be literally like snack stores and dispensaries. So you can just like, I want a bag of chips and some munchy food and this half ounce of weed. Thanks. You'll be here in 30 minutes. Awesome.
Food spots about to go up. Look, we jumping the economy, baby.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to let you
No,
go.
you're fine. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a wonderful night.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. I'll talk soon. Okay, man?
Yep. I'm always open. Hit me up.
Yes, absolutely. Me too. Bye.